to the Organized Frenzy podcast about knitting. I'm Natasha. I live in Welland with my boyfriend Jesse and our 3 cats. And you can find me on Instagram as Organized Frenzy, on Ravelry as Natasha Hillier, and I also have a Ravelry group where I post the show notes for each episode. So I am just working on my Scrappy Sock blanket, and it feels like forever that I've been working on this pink color, but I literally only work on it as I'm doing the podcast, and it's like 1 row per episode, so no wonder it's going slowly. I've just made myself a tea in one of my new mugs, so let's see. Nice festive mug, and then this is the other side. So I thought that was cute. It's quite a big mug. So if it's a lot, I didn't fill it up all the way because I don't know if I can drink that much tea. I already had a tea earlier. I had Buddha's Blend earlier from David's Tea, and right now I have, I think it's called White Cranberry Bark, another David's Tea one. Let me very quickly tell you about one of the Christmas gifts I got, because I'm like over the moon about it. I asked my mom for it, and so I knew I was getting it, but it's a new kettle. The one that I had previously was like, it looked pretty nice. It was a cordless stainless steel kettle, whatever, and you click the button down at the side and boils your water. The problem with this one was that the button didn't work on the side, and so I had to get like a plate or a lid or like something to hold the button down, wait for it to boil, and then have my tea. But drinking tea, and loose leaf tea especially, certain types of tea leaves need to be brewed at a specific temperature. And so I think I had mentioned this before, but I tried Buddha's Blend in the past, and actually a lot of people said it's their like #1 favorite tea, and I think I tried it like 2 or 3 times. It was just so bitter, and I'm like, how can people like this? This is gross. Well, I was putting boiling water in there. I knew you were supposed to use water not quite as warm, and so I wouldn't boil the water all the way, or I'd boil it and then let it cool down a bit, but it still didn't work. And so I know green tea is another one that you're not supposed to use boiling water with. So it was time for a new kettle, and so I got that, and I am so pleased with it. So that's why I had 2 teas today, because the first one I had to put Buddha's Blend to the test and see how it turned out brewing it at the correct temperature, and it was actually quite good. It's a very light tea because it's a white tea, but I boiled the water, I heated the water to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, and there's a little like scale or a gauge thing like on the side of the kettle, and it tells you green tea, I think 175, white tea 180, rooibos tea is 190. And then herbal teas, black teas is 212, which is boiling. So it's quite a difference, actually. The water's like just warm for the, not just warm, but it's like warm for the white tea, and so I brewed it, and yeah, like I said, it was good. And I mean, I can see where the bitterness comes from, but it wasn't bitter when I had it. But anyways, can you tell I'm excited about this kettle? It's just, it's new, nice looking, it's new, and it's like a digital, and you can do different things with it, so it's just neat. I really like it. So that was one of the things I got. Before I put my scrappy blanket away, I wanted to talk about the knitting needles that I'm using. So this is my blanket so far. Let's see if I can spread this out a little bit more. Got some ends to weave in still. But here it is. I think it looks really cool so far. This is the brightest strip that I have so far in the blanket. And I'm using the Leica, whatever. I don't know how to say them. Those driftwood needles. In 3.25 millimeters, which is a US 3. And I love these needles. They're wooden, but they're slick enough that it doesn't, I don't feel like I'm being slowed down at all. Quite comfy. I like the join. The only thing is I'm noticing, and I didn't really notice it before, but the cord actually has quite a bit of memory in it. I don't know if it's just because the cold weather kind of hardened that plastic or what it did, but I keep it like this. So it goes in the bucket, and then this gets folded up into the needle cozy, and that just lays on top. And so I took it out, and it was kind of wonky. Well, it still is. So I think what I'm going to start doing is putting it in the needle cozy like this. Actually, let's do that now. Hopefully that will eliminate a bit of the cord shaping. Maybe it'll stay a bit more round if I just keep it like that. I'm just gonna do this. Keep it in there in a big circle. Okay, well, I guess that's how we're gonna do that. So, next thing I got for Christmas, yarn. So my sister got this for me. It was supposed to be for my birthday, but she got me 2 skeins of yarn, like hand-dyed yarn, for my birthday and an enamel pin. I'm like, you better save one of those for Christmas, because I did not spend that much on you for your birthday. I know how much yarn costs. So she's like, oh, okay. So this is what I got. And it is by Old Oak Yarns. And they're from London, Ontario. So I thought that was really neat. I used to live there quite a few years ago, until I was about 13. And so it's just neat to have some yarn from there. And it's beautiful. So this one, oh, and it came with a little progress keeper, which is fun. Like, this is I don't like when they're too big, because then they kind of get in my way, but this is a nice tiny one. And this is going to be socks. I don't know what pattern yet, but it is their hardwood base sock yarn, and it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and there's no colorway name, but it's 867-5309. So that is yarn that I got for Christmas. So that's the only yarn I got for Christmas. I think everyone else thinks I'm too picky to choose yarn for me. That's probably what it is, but that's okay. All right, so last night I did a little bit of knitting, and I did a gauge swatch for my Comfort Fame cardie. So this is the purl side, which is what the outside of the cardigan is going to be anyways, so I figured I would do that one. And I think it fades together quite nicely. You can see the stripes way more defined here, but it blends together quite nicely. All right, so with my swatch, I washed it and blocked it last night. So the pattern calls for 21 stitches and 32 rows, is a 4x4 inch square or swatch using a 4mm needle. I got 19 stitches and 27 rows, is a 4x4 inch square. So my gauge is looser than Andrew Mowry's, and so I will need to go down a needle size. Like I said, I used the 4mm needle to start. I'm gonna try a 3.75mm needle, and I'm also going to try a 3.5mm needle. I don't think I'll have to go that much smaller, but I'm gonna do the trick where you do half your gauge swatch in one needle size. I'm going to do a row of purl, and then I'm going to do half the gauge swatch in the other size needle. So hopefully one of them works to get the gauge. I mean, in something like a shawl, it's not a big deal, and I've never really done a gauge swatch, but this cardigan needs to fit me, and I need to not run out of yarn, and so I had to do a gauge swatch. So I'm gonna have to do another one, but I think this is a nice little sample. I wanted to do it so you could see how the colors fade together. Oh, but I'm so excited about it. I am going to be, I think for New Year's Eve I'll cast on. The knit along officially starts on the 1st, but I might start early. I don't know. We'll see. This leads me into whips because I still haven't finished my sister's socks, so I want to finish those before I start my Comfort Fade cardi. I also have a finished object, but I'll just do that after. We'll go out of order. I rearranged my enamel pins. So this one is the one my sister got me. The others I had already, but I just put them in the middle of my bag because they were up here and it was getting a bit caught when I would pull this tight, and they were all kind of caught there, and it just couldn't see them as nicely, but there they are. I did make some good progress on my sister's socks though, and so I had only been done the heel on sock A, and I am now done the entire leg. So I've already cut my other two colors, and I'm only attached to purple still, and I just have to do the ribbing and then the cast off. So this is sock A. I did all of this in one day, the whole leg. I just kept going and going. I was listening to Harry Potter, and I said, oh my gosh, like, it's past Christmas, I need to get this done. I'm actually not going to see my sister for New Year's, so I'm just gonna mail it to her, but it's not gonna be done before New Year's, I don't think. Well, maybe. If I work a lot today and tomorrow, then it could be, but she's not getting it till after New Year's because mail's not going to be delivered. So anyways, I don't like these stripy socks, this stripe here. The the speckly yarn. This is what I have left. And it's a really cool color on its own. But when you're trying to have a consistent even stripe, it just kind of, I don't know, it's not quite as pleasing to the eye as solid stripes are. Or even if it was all like this, which is kind of what I thought it was going to be until I started knitting. But that's okay, she likes them. She's not picky, so there you go. Sock B. Nowhere near as much done. I did the heel on this one, and that's it. So I still have lots to go before sock B is done, but making progress, I guess. The other WIP I want to show is my Christmas Eve? No, my Christmas Day cast on. It's in my fringe field bag, and it's quite roomy in here because that's all that's in here is some yarn. So I showed the yarn already, but these are the socks. So this is the Holly Berry sock set from Lizzie Ann Yarns. And that was who did the Comfort Fade cardi for me as well. So she's written Holly Berry sock set. And it's an 80/20 Super Rush Merino nylon. And each mini, so it was 1 skein of yarn, 100 gram skein that I split in half, as I always do because I knit my socks 2 at a time, and 2 minis, 20 grams each. These are the minis, so it really goes together nicely. I love this yarn. I actually have quite a few of her sock sets that I have not used yet. I don't know why. I think maybe it's like a mentality, or it's like in my head where I think the yarn's too nice to use, but not really. I do want to use it. I just haven't found the perfect pattern for it. So anyways, I'm just doing these vanilla. The speckles are glorious. And I have not worked on these since Christmas Day. This is all Christmas Day. I think it was like 2.5 hours. I did the cast on, and I did finish the toes, and then I did about an inch into the sock. And like I said, it's just vanilla because I wanted to show off the yarn. I didn't want it to be too busy. I wanted something just mindless while I was talking to family and things like that. When I didn't talk about this last time because I wound the yarn after I filmed. As I was winding, the very end caught on my Swift or something. Actually, you can see my Swift right there. I hate it. But I have this mini ball because it got tangled and I was getting so mad, so I just cut it. And I said I'll join this later. I think it's only like 3 grams or something. Not even. But there's my Swift. Actually, this is something else that I want to talk about. I ordered a new Swift because I hate mine. It is, and I knew I was buying a cheap one when I bought it. Same thing with my ball winder. Right there. It's like each of them are like $20, $25. And so this was right at the beginning of my knitting. I wasn't really sure how much I was gonna, like how into it I was gonna be, how much money I wanted to spend, and so I just got a couple cheap things. The ball winder is quite good. The only thing is that little guide at the end that sticks out, where you feed your yarn through, that doesn't stay in place, and so all I did was take one of those fold back clips and clipped it on the bottom where it comes out, right here. Anyways, I don't know if that makes any sense, but it holds that little arm in place, and so I don't have to worry. And the Swift, however, it came quicker than I think so. I think it came quicker than I thought it was going to, but it was broken when it got here. So normally the top of, I can't even point to it. The top of the Swift, of the part that extends, is attached to the very top point right there. And so when you move the little lever handle thing up, the top is just, it's stationary, and you just move it up and down and it comes in and out. Mine's detached, and so my whole like umbrella part can slide up and down. It makes it really finicky sometimes. I mean, there is a little spot in the middle where it can kind of rest on, and so I have to put the yarn on, open it up, slide the whole thing down, and it's really flimsy. It's metal, and then there's like plastic straws on top of it, and it doesn't even clip in like the bottom where it's not screwed into, but like clips onto the desk. Not very secure, and so sometimes halfway through winding I have to push it back on. Actually, when the yarn got tangled right at the end of winding it for the sock set, it was because a whole Swift fell off my desk, or it like collapsed, and then it like collapsed in on itself, so it wasn't out like an umbrella. Yeah, and it fell, and it got really tangly, and that's what happened, and I had to like unhook it from all the spots on the Swift. And so there was actually for a while there's been a couple different Swifts that I've been looking at, and they're like $55, and so I'm like, don't know if I want to buy that yet. I was gonna buy it soon, or like maybe January, because I've got some money for Christmas and stuff, and I just decided to buy it now because I was getting too frustrated with the one that I have. As I wound all the yarn for my Comfort Fade Cardi, 11 skeins, and I mean, I got kind of a rhythm down as I was doing it, but winding that Christmas yarn because I had to do 3 skeins, like I was just so annoyed with it. So anyways, I got Jesse, he has an Amazon Prime account. I got him to order a Swift for me using his Prime account. Prime guarantees, well, 2 business days, and so that would have been, like, we would have already been on our way to Montreal, and so he upgraded to the 1-day shipping, and now it's gonna come before Montreal, just before we leave for Montreal, the day before. So it was only $3 for him to upgrade it, whereas it was $15 for me if I had done the upgrade, and so I just transferred the money to him, and it's coming, and I'm so excited. Okay, but the one I got was not an umbrella Swift. Like I said, there was 2 that I kind of had my eye on. One was this wooden umbrella Swift, and it's really nice. I think it's Stanwood. Is that the brand? I think they do ball winders and Swifts. But I figured I would go with the tabletop Swift. Figured I would go with that one because then there's no moving parts. It's more stationary. Yes, it takes up more space. It's gonna have to clean my desk basically. It takes up more space, but I kind of measured it out, like in the picture on Amazon. It showed the measurement, and it was like 18 inches or something, 16 inches from one end to the other. So if I put it kind of like on the corner, I have space for the whole thing to go around. There's different, it's just like an X like that, and then there's pegs at either side, all 4 points, and you just rest your yarn on it. So I liked that better. I think it's gonna be easier to use than the Umbrella Swift, because you have to like hook it on and hold it and then open it and like position everything. Whereas this, I'm just gonna like lay it down in 4 spots. So it'll be easier to set up and use, and hopefully no tangles because of all the little, like, there's so many spots in that thing for it to get tangled, and there's not going to be in this one. There's only like 5 parts or whatever, and I'm very excited. So it's gonna come soon. It's too bad that I didn't think about ordering it sooner and having it so I could use it to wind up all my yarn for my Comfort Fig Cardi. But I am gonna be making a sweater for Jessie next year. So that's gonna be a few skeins of worsted weight yarn. I have lots of socks to knit next year. It's gonna get a lot of good use. So that will be coming shortly, within the next few days. I'll have it for the next episode. Although for the next episode, I'm gonna be doing like a vlog style, because I'll be in Montreal for majority of next week, and also traveling to Toronto. Jesse doesn't watch the podcast, so I can say this because it's a surprise for him. But his birthday is on January the 8th, on next Monday. Not the one coming up, the one after. So on our way back from Montreal, we're gonna stop in Toronto on the Saturday and stay over there and go to a restaurant downtown Toronto. It's called Buca. It's an Italian restaurant, like contemporary Italian, and we've been before, and he's been one other time as well and loves it. So that's gonna be for his birthday, and I'm so looking forward to it, because our last time we went there was about a year ago. It was just after New Year's, and we had an amazing meal. It's just a really good place that we don't get to go to very often because it's pricey and it's far, but that'll be for next episode. So, oh my gosh, I didn't even talk about my mom's shawl that I finished on the 23rd, or was it the 24th? No, I think it was, yeah, it was the 23rd. Just after we had arrived at Jessie's parents, and I had a few more rows. It was like half an hour tops of knitting and weaving in ends and stuff. Like, there wasn't a lot for me to finish, but I just did a regular knitted cast off, and I didn't like how that turned out with the shawl, but I didn't really know what other cast off I could have done. Although an I-cord cast off would have been cool, but I don't know if I would have had enough yarn. The knitted cast off though was just a bit tighter than I wanted it to be, so I noticed too, my gauge from the beginning of knitting the shawl to the end like grew significantly. I didn't even get a chance to wash and block the sweater for the cardigan. What is it called? A shawl? I didn't even get a chance to wash and block the shawl for her. I told her that she could do it, but she said, whatever, it's cozy the way it is. I said, okay. Like, you know, the stitches are going to even out and stuff if you do wash it, but she's okay with the way it is. She's just kind of wearing it like a scarf anyways, so it's not a huge deal. But she really enjoys it. So I'm going to put some pictures in here. So hopefully you kind of got an idea of what it looks like. It's not the best quality lighting in those pictures, but I got my sister to take them because actually I forgot to after I gifted it to her. And I also forgot to talk about the knits that I gifted. So my mom's shawl, the socks for my youngest sister. She, like I said, she chose the yarn, she chose the pattern, so she knew exactly what she was getting. I guess she didn't know how the yarn was going to knit up, but she knew the colors in the yarn and she knew the pattern, and the socks fit her perfectly actually, so I'm very, very pleased with that. It's always like I get stressed out, not stressed out, but I get kind of worried about knitting socks for others. I want to make sure that they fit. So 3 pairs of socks that I knit, I didn't ask the people to measure their foot because it was going to be a surprise, but I just found out their shoe size and that worked perfectly. So my boyfriend's parents are the other 2 knits that I gifted, and I had peeked in their shoes one time when they came to visit us and just wrote down their shoe size, and then later on looked on the Zappos website to get the foot length in inches versus the shoe size, and it's pretty accurate, like, and you don't realize how small the difference in how small in inches the difference in shoe sizes is until you're looking at that chart, because you know your own foot size, and you know that if you get shoes that are even half a size too small, like, it's going to be uncomfortable. If your shoes are half a size too big, you're going to be swimming in them. But it's literally, like, it's minuscule. It's like millimeters. The other thing I realized as I progressed in my sock knitting is I actually used to knit my socks the length of the foot like a 1/4 of an inch shorter than the actual length of my foot. I'm like, yeah, because the yarn's gonna stretch out and then they'll fit perfectly once I'm wearing them. And while that makes sense, because the yarn does stretch, let me demonstrate on here. When you pull this, see how this shrinks too? The horizontal. If I pull this vertically, it shrinks in horizontally. And same thing that way too. So if you're stretching yarn one way, it's going to shrink the other way. So now I just knit my socks to exactly the length of the foot, because when this sock is around your foot, it's going to stretch out a little bit that way and then shrink in a little bit on the length, just enough to fit perfectly. So that's why the socks fit really well, and they were very well received. Everyone loved them. My mom and my sister knew they were getting socks. Jesse's parents did not know, but I had them open them at the same time, which was kind of cool, and they said, "What? No way! Oh, thank you!" And then for Jesse's mom, I did Knit Picks Stroll Glimmer, so the sparkle yarn, and she's a very sparkly lady, so she really liked that. And then his dad said, "Oh, mine's missing sparkle." I said, "Okay, don't worry, Norm, next time I'll know to put sparkle yarn in there for you too." So I think I might do it as a joke. Although that's a lot of knitting for a joke. Maybe just like a heel in sparkle or something, because it'll be in shoes anyways. But yeah, I thought that's funny. So last thing I'll talk about is my trip to Montreal. So it's gonna be 3 days that we're going for. But of course, I have to bring knitting, and so I'm not 100% decided on what I'm bringing yet. Comfort Fade Cardi, I do want to bring. I think that's going to be my car knitting, just because it's going to be my newest project, and I'm excited about it. I think I'm going to bring, so I am going to bring Comfort Fade. I can't say the word. Comfort Fade. Fave is what I want to say. Comfort Fade Cardi. I'm going to bring that. And my Christmas socks, because I do want to get those done. I don't want to just leave them. They are on my main sock needles anyway, but I don't want to just leave them and never finish them. Even though they're Christmas colors, I'll probably still wear them. Just like, I mean, my feet are in my shoes anyways if I wear my socks out, and they're just comfy. Plus I can wear them around the house. So I'm going to bring those socks because those are just vanilla and it's nice and easy. And the other things I'm debating between. So I'm gonna bring one or the other or both, and I haven't decided this yet. I don't want to bring too much because then it's overwhelming. Oh, everything that I brought for Christmas knitting I did knit on, so I was glad that I got a chance to do that. I'm just looking at my list here of what I wrote down, because I wrote down the 4 things. So Comfort Fade Cardi, Christmas socks, and then What the Fade and Stars Align. And the last 2 are shawls that I'm working on. What the Fade I did like just a couple rows over Christmas time, but it's nice because it's garter, so it's just easy. Stars Align is, you do have to pay a little bit more attention, but it's fairly straightforward to follow as well. But I started that one a while ago, and I need the knitting needles for my Comfort Fade Cardi, I think, because I'm using a 3.75 millimeter there. So still undecided about what I'm gonna bring, but I guess I just have to show you in my next podcast. I don't want to overwhelm myself with bringing too many things, but I also don't want to bring too few things and say, oh shoot, I wish I had something else, because I don't, I'm not in the mind frame to work on any of the things that I have. But I'm planning on buying some yarn there as well. I won't have my needles though, so it's not like I can cast anything on. Plus I want to finish some things that I'm working on before I do new cast-ons. So I'll just have to figure out exactly what I want to bring, and then I will be letting you know. It's a small space that we're going to be in. We're not going to be spending the entire time in the Airbnb place, in the room. So I may not even have a lot of knitting time. I think I'll just bring 3 things. Comfort Fade Cardi for the car, Christmas socks, just for, the stockinette, vanilla sock, and then I'm gonna bring Stars Align. I'm gonna leave What the Fade here. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, it's decided. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you got some knitting related gifts for Christmas, or you're now buying yourself some knitting related gifts. I will see you in about a week, maybe just over a week. Hopefully I will have some progress on everything to show you. I won't show you my What the Fade right now because there's not a lot of progress there, but actually probably won't be next time either since I'm not bringing it. But anyways, I'll show you what I've got for next week at that point, and hopefully you are, gonna spend New Year's with people you love and have a nice time celebrating. Jesse and I are just gonna stay at home, so it's gonna be quite relaxing. I'm looking forward to that because it's usually kind of hectic and you don't really get as much time to relax, so staying at home will be very nice. And yeah, I'll see you for my next episode, which, like I said, will be kind of a vlog style, so hopefully that turns out. Hopefully it doesn't take me too much time to put everything together, but yeah, so thank you for watching. Bye.